Go.
All right. So welcome in. Thank you for tuning into the Hex Text Patch Preview. I'm Mythic Fishmom here with Cyrus, Karn Hex, and Jizem Jedi. Apparently our guest. So we're gonna go over this patch. Not the biggest patch in the world, or a lot of extraordinary relevance. But we are going. I'm hearing myself twice by accident. All right, but we're gonna go over it and kind of go over what we think is important about the patch. And if you guys have anything,
there are a couple important things.
Yeah,
it's not all dull.
Yeah, I mean it's mostly dull, but there's some things. There are things definitely for sure.
Yep.
So the first line is something that's actually interesting. Closed beta is fast approaching. That's the coolest part of the entire thing. That's it. We're done. See you guys later.
Okay, goodbye.
So the first thing I want to have here is the new features we'll go over. It says there is now a stash card in the card manager that will hold all items that are not cards. This is still work in progress.
This is
for PvE and such.
This is important for getting close to the beta. I mean, we will have a lot of stuff that is tradable and stuff. So this is, of course, nothing big, but still, it's important to have, and we need that for beta. So I think I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it before I got into before we did this because we had a little while between when the patch hit and now, and I had a few chests from opening packs, and they're in there. So I think it's just like literally everything that's not a card.
Yeah,
because it had like 17 chests in there, so I'm guessing it's just.
Oh, so like chests, packs, equipment, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if packs go in there.
Also?
Well, sleeves are in their own thing for the fact that you have the little sleeve selection thing. So I don't think they're there.
No.
I wouldn't assume packs are there because packs are technically cards, right?
Yeah, but you have to remember you can sell sleeves and stuff, and so it has to be an object that is tradable, and so it has to be in that section, isn't it?
I guess it's fair.
Yeah.
They weren't in there now, though. I mean, this could be the unique ones that we get from, our backer statuses and such. But, yeah. Something cool, though. Because it's actually working, which is nice to see.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next up. The card preview has been re-added to draft. So that's good.
Yeah, it was just something nice to see when you're looking at the draft, like especially when you're streaming. Like I know all of us here stream. When you're looking at the cards, it's nice to have a giant picture of it on the side for the viewers, also yourself, I guess, to be able to read the cards much easier. Even though my head covers mine, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I like that this saves time for people who are streaming to just be able to show it, and people who are at home maybe aren't as familiar with the card. Or even people who are guest starring on the show and aren't as familiar with the card don't have to ask embarrassing questions like, what does that do?
Yeah, for sure. And like, it's even nice, like, you could just keep it on there so you have your last pick showing on the side so that someone comes in later like, oh, that's a card you just picked up, was that one, or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to assume that probably, but, whatever.
Yep.
So cool.
All right. Next up, round numbers are now correct, so it's just accurate of what round you're in. Just a little aesthetic change. I'm sure nobody really got too confused with that.
Nothing big.
Yeah. Next up, collection should now be sorted properly and sealed, which is nice. There's a bunch of collection mishaps, even in the regular card manager, not just in sealed. I'm assuming they fixed that as well. But I was having even though it was sorted by color, I would have 3 different sections for each color, and it was all mixed up everywhere. Real pain to find something unless you search specifically for a card.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a helpful change, but as said, not the biggest in the world again.
Yeah, a lot of the as we get closer to beta, a lot of these things are going to be just quality of life changes, making things a little neater, making things a little nicer. It's really all it's going to be. So it's not going to be as exciting as it was before when we we got Vampire King in this patch now. Now we got I can click a
some
button.
UI changes.
Yeah, we're getting patches that had include cards and stuff, and we were all happy about it. And so this patch has a lot of polished stuff, but that polished stuff is very important. I mean, if you want to release a game and you want to release a game that people want to play, you want to release a game that people want to see, and that small stuff that is being fixed is kind of important. Not at this point in alpha for us, but at later points we will love these things that they are the way they are now. Okay.
It's important since since beta is fast approaching, as they said, it's very important to get all these things polished up and bugs fixed and the UI working properly and all that. But yeah, next up, the rewards rules buttons should now function properly in tournament lobbies. I guess they just weren't working correctly before.
Yeah, now it actually shows what you win when you would be like if you get second place in the draft, it shows you now you win 4 packs and some amount of gold, and first place is 8 packs and I'm guessing some amount of gold. I don't remember. I know Nero was streaming before, and he was saying if you got second place, you got gold, but assuming first place you didn't get gold, which didn't make sense to me because I figured make it more value out of the gold than you would out of the packs anyway. But
yeah, that's odd.
Whatever.
I guess we'll see what they end up doing with that.
Yeah.
Next, Swiss tournaments now properly assign buys, so it doesn't just give it to a random player. Swiss tournaments also now properly pair players, no more rematches. Apparently, some Swiss games, people were playing the same people again.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced this one a couple of times in draft where I played one opponent and we had an interesting match, but I won it, and then in the next round we played the same exact guy, and that's not nearly as much fun. You want to play against different people.
Yeah. And also, I mean, just having it, if you just beat the guy, you shouldn't be paired with him anyway because you have different scores in the draft. So, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he actually ended up conceding it before he even played the match out. It was kind of lame.
Yeah. Next up, players who receive buys will now have their standings updated accordingly. Those were not working correctly before, I suppose. Picking cards in limited deck builder no longer causes your collection to move down the screen. I suppose that's good.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that at all before either. The last players to finish a match in a round of limited can now access the reserves between rounds. So that's actually a huge help. Sometimes if you're the last guy to finish, it would not let you put yourself back to your main deck or switch back any gems that you wanted to do. And it's just a good bug fix to have. Puts everybody on even ground.
The gems one, the switching the gems one is one that I've noticed too. Like a lot of times when you do a draft, if you switch the gem on a card, it stays that way for the next draft. So being able to do that in between rounds, if you're the last one that finished, is pretty nice.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know which one we're on. All sort options. All right. all sort options are functional in draft now. I don't even know what was I. Oh, I guess that's about the like sort by cost and color and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, all that stopped working in draft.
Oh, that's
unfortunate.
I only did like one draft since the last patch because we were doing a lot of testing for the tournament, so I didn't really play a lot of drafting. But
I was doing a lot of drafting and not enough testing.
Good little fix there.
Yeah, that was certainly a bit annoying.
So the next one is tournament drafts are no longer saved in your collection, which I know I'm happy about because I hated having to delete them all the time because I can't have all these miscellaneous decks in my collection. It bothers me.
Yeah, it was just filling up completely with a bunch of invalid decks that just got in the way when you're trying to load or save or create new decks.
Yeah.
I wondered if that was a bug or a feature when it was happening because, one thing that's kind of interesting is if you'd ever be able to go out, I mean, you can't do 40-card decks in Constructed right now, but if they ever added the function where you could go and do 40-card decks in the Proving Grounds for fun, to compare your draft deck against somebody else's draft deck might have been interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a nice thing to have. Like, again, if you want to even just be like, you win a draft and like, oh, look at this awesome draft deck I had. Like after the fact, you can pull it up and take a picture of it with your screenshot or whatever, and show it to people, which is something cool to have. But I mean, you could do that during the draft too. So having it afterwards doesn't really need to be there.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing, open queue should now always be listed first in tournament screen. Just something good to have again. I didn't know it was even a thing. I didn't notice that ever before.
Well, there's a bunch of them. The old queues would just kind of get mixed in with whatever was open right now, whatever you needed to join. They had fixed it for a while before, but apparently it reverted back to what it used to be, being all mixed up, and now they're just fixing it again. So
Makes sense.
Of course, good to have.
So that next change is pack and pick number are now probably labeled while drafting. And that's a change I really like. When you saw I mean, you can of course calculate and stuff, but on the top, it just randomly says sometimes booster 24, booster 1, booster 6 and stuff. And I think I like that change. That's also that tiny little polish that gets us closer to beta, and that's the things we want to see and we want to have working when you want to know at which pick you are and at which booster and stuff. So that's a change I would like, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it now for the fact that you can kind of count the amount of cards in the pack and then go through all that. It's way more complex than just being like, oh, well, it's up on top there, I can look at that. Because I always forget what pick I'm on, because I'm just looking at everything and being dumb for the most part. So, yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say on that, or should we go on to the next one?
No, just nice to
We're
have.
good? Yeah.
UI fix.
Alright, so tournaments are now currently listed at 60 minutes per round, which is good because I know I lost a few I lost a game yesterday by timing out because it was a 30-minute. So, I mean, I'm fine with that because 30 minutes really isn't, like, it's probably enough, but it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't feel like enough most times. Especially if you're playing like a grindy deck, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Good talk.
Sounds like sounds like
Just
everybody's home for you, Mythic.
Yeah, I mean,
bunch of
it's
people
party
walking
time up
around.
here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. There is now an audio cue when your tournament is ready, which is good. So you could walk away, you know, put your speakers on super loud and like my house is right now, and you know, just have a nice little scream at you when you are ready for your tournament.
Yeah, I
I'm
wonder what that
hoping it's
audio
screen
cue is.
The change is not really. The change is good. The change, but it's not. I mean, for example, if I play Dota 2 and I join a queue and I minimize the game, and the game is minimized and it does not. It does not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I won't hear any sound. But when the queue is ready, I get a huge sound and I know, okay, my queue is ready. I can maximize the game, go into it. So if it is that way and you play Hex on full screen, then this change is awesome because I really like this. You join a queue and you can just minimize, do other stuff, don't have to concentrate. And okay, here you don't have to accept yet, but if they will force you to accept, which will they do for sure if you pay for that, then this change will be very comfortable, I would say.
Yep.
Well, they don't necessarily have to make you accept entering the queue at that point. If you already entered the queue before, like, the queue just tells you it's starting, you don't have to accept anything after that.
Yeah, okay, it's probably a bit different, but that change may
That's how it was for Magic Online, at least.
be comfortable.
I actually
We'll
think
will realize it.
I actually think this is the best improvement of all of the tournament improvements, and because there's so many times where someone will go AFK when you're in the middle of a draft
Right.
or getting ready for a draft.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do because you're just sitting around waiting forever sometimes, or, you know, even if it's just 10 minutes, it's still nice to have that and know, hey, stupid, jump in the queue here. It's time to draft.
And even
Yeah, and
then-
especially recently, right? Like, where it's been much longer to get in between games. Like, I've gotten a few drafts where someone's definitely been AFK the entire time because I've gotten past, like, Inquisitor's pick 3. It's like, there's 3 people who are definitely not here because
Yeah.
that doesn't happen otherwise. So,
I mean-
like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that change will be in the brightest light if they do it the way I said it. If you have to, when you join a queue, of course you should be ready. But let's say you have some points when you have to wait like 30 minutes. You won't concentrate, and at some point you will minimize the game, do something else, and you can't forget it. And if they add a mechanic where you have to accept your invite for the draft, then you make sure that every one of the players who sign up for the draft is there. And then this feature makes a lot of sense, as I mentioned before. So
I'm
The
hoping
problem with
they
having
also-
the exception thing is that then people who are still away from their like keyboards they could either be like, oh, I can't do it now, and they'll decline. You need to wait again for someone else to join, and then wait again for that to happen again. So
yeah,
I mean,
you have to make
the
it
accepting
you
things
have to
a
make
little
it
bit.
different when you do games like Dota 2 and stuff. You join a queue, and you won't see how many people are in the queue like you can see in Hex in the moment. You will just join a queue, and at some point it shows you, okay, we're ready, and it won't show you the names and stuff. And if someone drops, then after it shows 1, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah, up to 10 players are ready, and if one declines, then this one gets out of the queue, and the rest is going to be in the first priority queue. That means they will get one player added and will be the first place in queue and directly get an invite, you know?
Yep.
So they may change the whole tournament join system, and when we look into beta, I'm very sure they will do, because CZD mentioned they won't take any money from us, which they will take when they start beta, because then we will have our own card pools, and they have to make sure that this kind of stuff all is working good and it's working the way they want it to work. They don't want anyone to lose bucks or do bugs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, they'll be losing dollars, right? Because if it bugs out on you, you could be like, well, it bugged out and get patched from them, so they're giving you money, essentially, in that way. So definitely they're going to make sure everything's working correctly before they go ahead and...
That's it.
Still on the actual audio queue, I hope they add that in for individual rounds as well.
Oh yeah, that would be
as soon
very
as the
good.
round starts, that would be nice.
That would be...
Because I know I've
amazing.
tabbed out plenty of times when I'm just like one of the first guys done in the round, and then I'm just waiting for the next round to come around, like other guys are still in game 1 or game 2, and I just want to tab out, and it'd be nice to have an alert for when the game starts.
Yeah, I agree. Especially
I mean,
when we stream, we don't want to just do nothing when we wait 4.5 hours. So we do other stuff while we're on stream, and we probably miss the queue at some point. So this would help a lot, especially for streaming drafts and tournament stuff, in my opinion.
Also, something else that Corey said in an interview, he said that they're also tossing around the idea of having it so you could set it up and it'll send it to your phone when your queue is ready. So like if you go leave your computer and you take your phone with you, they can have it send it straight to your phone to tell you when your queue's ready.
That also makes sense. That will be cool.
So that'd be pretty cool.
So,
Yeah, be sweet.
we're done with the tournaments. So
One thing real fast, though, I do really hope the audio cue is Shadow Grove Witch, that noise. Have you ever played Shadow Grove Witch?
Just a disgusting scream.
Blood-curdling scream, just...
Mythic, you know you're going to change it no matter what the sound is anyway. You're just going to make it something else.
I'm going to find a way to change it, because, I mean, I'd like Chronic Madness's sound to be it, because that'd be hilarious.
Come on, you like that sound. I know you like.
But yeah.
Okay, I would say we go to the general tab now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from now on, all new accounts will be asked to select a starter deck. So once you go into beta, it's going to ask us to select a starter deck fresh from the gate, which is pretty sweet. I don't think anyone's got to worry about that now, considering there's no new accounts being made at the moment. Unless you just never activate your account, then maybe you'll see it. But other than that, yeah.
What I like about this feature, even if it is just a small change and it's necessary, what I like about this feature is when you have other trading card games, you get a stupid starter deck, which everyone has, which just contains common cards, so you have to buy cards and stuff. And when you start to play Hex, you have to choose a starter deck that you probably like. So that's a general thing, that you can choose a starter deck when you create an account. That's very good.
Yeah.
I like it.
I believe there's 5 different ones, right?
Yeah, that's good. You just don't get the normal standard deck. You know what I mean? This is like boring.
There's actually some good cards in these things. So
yeah.
Well, at least there were. I'm not sure. I don't know if they still are there.
Sure.
There was rumor of them being changed. So
I don't think they'd change them too much, but that's speculation. So I suppose we'll just move on to the next point.
Yeah.
Primal packs.
Yeah, do it.
Now have an image in the pack opening screen. So.
Okay.
All right.
Next.
I never actually messed around with the pack opening, so I don't know what that looked like before. But
they looked like a regular pack before. They were just underneath your other packs. So.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
The winner of the coin flip now chooses to play first to draw first. That is, yay. Good change.
That's
Fantastic
the best
change.
thing I've heard all day.
For sure.
Yeah.
Probably the best change in the patch so far.
Yeah, one of the better ones for sure. If they had it so when you're playing best 2 out of 3, you could then also loser chooses to play first to draw first. then that would be fantastic. But this is on their way working there. Hopefully they'll have that other feature in soon. But for now, this is solid.
Yeah,
and hopefully, I'm wondering if they don't have the best 2 out of 3 in the next tournament, if, say, the next challenge series, they'll make it a rule to have it so loser does get to choose to play first or draw first, no matter who wins the coin flip. That would be interesting to implement. I mean, that'd be how it's supposed to be, as long as they could get everybody to cooperate with it.
It'd be very hard to implement, though. Like, I don't even know if it's possible to implement it, because if it has to be, they have to go, by whoever is supposed to go first has to then go first. They'd have to keep exiting the game and going back into it.
No,
right?
they could just like if the loser ends up losing the coin flip, they just tell the other person, "Hey, pick draw first, so I'm on the play," since I lost last game.
That makes sense.
But they might not want to do that because human interaction is hard. So
yeah, it could be like, oh, I accidentally chose to play first. Well, let's just keep going because whatever.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that. I mean, I'm giving you guys all my tips immediately.
What a dick.
Okay, so
all right. Yeah, the coin flip scene has now been improved, even though they just improved it. Now it's improved even more. I'm excited to see how improved it is now.
Yeah, I didn't see it yet.
It's actually very sweet now.
Oh yeah. I thought it was pretty cool before.
Yeah, now it's like super epic. Before it was like epic, and now it's like epic. You know what I'm saying?
Monster kill.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so next change is also quite boring. I would say you're no longer able to save more than 15 cards in your reserves. I think we can.
Now it's just working as it was supposed to be working the whole time.
It's like not a big change.
Yep.
So.
Next up, tooltip text for "This troop can't attack" no longer has an extraneous comma.
Finally.
Yeah, I mean that comma was killing me.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, not a good change. So next point.
Matchmaking and Proving Grounds will now obey the 30-minute rematch timer, preventing you from being matched to the same player twice successfully. I didn't know that was a thing, but I also never used the automatic matching system anyway.
It's a good change that if you use the matchmaking and you don't normally want to play twice against the same player, the only problem is at some points you don't have more than 2 players looking probably, and then you won't get matched. So, but the change will be for bigger player numbers, and then it's good. Makes sense.
Yep. Once again, another change for getting prepared to move into beta.
Yeah.
Using the mouse scroll wheel on cards in the graveyard no longer causes graphical errors, which is real nice, because I was getting all sorts of graphical errors before whenever I tried to do anything involving the graveyard. So it's a good change.
Nero saying in chat that apparently it is working where loser chooses to go first or second. That's pretty cool.
It's not working, or it is working?
It is working. It's working as it should be working now.
Great, that's good. So,
that's fantastic.
Next change.
Keyword window now only appears on cards with keywords in the card manager.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Also a change we need for beta. Not necessary yet. I would say not the biggest change.
I mean, all these are just good polishing.
Yeah,
fixing up things that needed to be fixed.
It's good to have. It's just nothing we can talk a lot about.
Yeah, a lot of this isn't super exciting stuff.
Yeah, right.
But
so next point.
Keyword text is now formatted properly when viewing a card through a hyperlink on another card. So a little going real deep with the stuff. Turned out good. Looks like your cam froze, Mythic, by the way.
Yes, Mythic, your cam's frozen.
Unfortunately. If you can fix that up.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every year?
Every day.
My everything's breaking right now, though.
Well, man, I don't like it when your everything's breaking.
I think we need a new Mythic. Oh, no, it's frozen again.
Oh, that's
Mythic.
Came back frozen.
Anyway,
moving on.
That way now.
I'm here.
Yeah. All targeting arrows should now point to the proper location. So apparently there were some arrows that were not pointing at the right things that they were actually pointing at before. So
also good post.
Yeah, there were times where you would attack and your arrow would go look like it's shooting to the moon instead of attacking your opponent.
If you're attacking the moon, who knows, man? Don't judge it. Like you've never attacked the moon before.
I love attacking the moon.
Why would you? Why you want to attack the moon? We're not in Big Bang Theory where you do stuff with the moon. That's not correct. You should not.
No, Mythic might be on the Big Bang Theory.
Mythic is the Big Bang Theory itself.
All right.
Okay, let's go to the next point. I mean, this is like
let's get degenerate over here.
Yeah, this is turning out a little. Yeah, let's just keep it moving. Tooltips now function properly in the campaign screen, so they're already fixing up stuff for the PvE.
That's good.
Even though we don't have PvE yet, so.
Yeah.
Champion select button and equipment slots no longer cover up the mail window.
Oh, that's
so
important.
Apparently that was the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scroll ball elements have been aligned to this in the store, so they just had some scrolling issues to where the bar was not lined up with the line that it was supposed to be on. So just fixing that up. Removed underscores from various text in the game.
Don't know.
I didn't know that was. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, I also didn't see. But it's okay. They found it. They deleted it. It's fine.
Yeah. Primal packs now can correctly contain 2 legendary and 13 rare cards. Apparently, some packs were showing up with more or less legendaries, more or less rares.
Okay.
So good to get that fixed up.
Yeah.
Long names should no longer cause overlapping text issues on the coin flip screen.
Oh, that's
I was actually seeing that even with short names. Like, even my 4-letter name was getting messed up on the coin flip screen.
So that's
just
a lot of them. So.
That's
stuff not at the right depth. So they just fixed that up.
Yeah, that's a good polish.
Mm-hmm. Also, a big one for the casuals. You can now only save up to 300 cards in a deck. Sorry to spoil your fun.
See, my next
they maxed out your decks at 300.
300 cards, 302 cards, and now I have to
yeah, mine was going to be 350. Really sad about this change.
It's so hard. It's tough, you know. You have to like take out some cards from your 300 card decks. Like it's
yeah, man.
It's brutal.
I mean, how am I supposed to do that? I already made so many cuts already.
Like I'd have the entire collection, you know? It's like
oh yeah, it is good to put an actual upward limit on it, so you can't just shove your whole collection into a deck and break the game. I'm supposing this is just because they actually wanted a limit, and then 300 is kind of arbitrary. A nice round number to stop it at. But still high enough for Jankbot to be used in the future. So.
Well, it means it can't be like a Jankbot 2.0 where it's like 600 cards now. Like it's not gonna happen now. So they just ruined any hope we had for that.
Unfortunately, some of Mantic's combos aren't going to fit in a deck anymore. So.
At least not until they announce that they're making a change and they're even increasing it even higher from 300, like in a stealth patch. Maximum deck size goes to 500, 600.
Yeah, I'm sure if they get enough complaints, they might change it.
Man, just gotta keep bugging them every Wednesday.
But yeah, nobody uses 300 card decks anyway, so this is all jokes.
As I said, just not a necessary change. We can skip that.
Yeah. Mulligan animation now properly accommodates getting a duplicate of a card from your first hand. So before, when you would keep a card in your hand when you went to Mulligan, you thought, man, this deck's screwing me. It was actually just a visual thing to where if you were going to get that card again anyway, it just left it in there. So now it's not doing that anymore, so nobody gets upset and says like the Mulligan's not working properly
it's
or
a
something.
Visual change. Yeah.
Good way to think.
Up and down arrows now work in chat. Yes! Okay, skip that.
I know they didn't work in chat. I mean, I never even...
Yeah, you could only scroll before.
So this,
no, you could scroll with your mouse wheel, but not by clicking the arrows.
I never read the chat because I don't care what anyone's saying.
It's also not a good change. It's just polish again. But the next change.
The next one's actually a big change that I'm happy about because that shit would take forever.
Yeah.
Again, animation is much faster now. Like you would waste like a minute just pressing the Mulligan button before, but now hopefully that goes by really quickly. It just tosses all the cards in at once instead of going one at a time. It back into the deck, and then back into your hand, and then back into your deck, and then back into your hand. All that got pretty lengthy for a while, so happy they fixed that up.
Right. Hey, Mystic, your camera's working again. Woo!
Nice. Good.
Nice.
I mean,
Drop-down menus in Card Manager now close automatically when you click away from them.
nice.
Okay.
That was bothering me a little bit. So I had to keep going back and clicking the down button. I don't like that. I use drop-down menus often. I drop
Some
down
high
and drop down.
quality dropped though. Your
That's right.
camera's
That was
working
really
good.
annoying to me. Yeah, it's very unintuitive that you have to go and click the menu up at the top again in order to close it. And it's really nice that you can just go click in the regular deck area now. So I like that a lot.
Alright. We removed the continue button from victory screen in tournaments.
Oh, only in tournaments. Okay, I saw it before when I was playing games. I saw it there before, but now it's more sense making. That's all I got. All right.
Yeah.
Fixed graphical issue with replicas and with replicas of replicas. I didn't even know it was like. I'm guessing Mantic would know that one because replicas of replicas doesn't like ever seem to exist to me.
Replicas of replicas is rather odd. I don't think I've seen that one before. Very corner case, but
now
happy
it's
they
fixed.
fixed it. Yeah.
Maybe it's like if you were to, maybe it's a Gambit thing. Maybe.
Yeah. Say Gambit something that you mimicked.
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah. So
the
yeah,
mail
just-
and friends window. Sorry, my bad, dude.
Oh, go ahead.
Hello? All right. The mail and friends windows should now have less overlapping issues.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just like with the coin flip screen and the names getting overlapped by some of the artwork and such, they just fixed some of the overlapping and layering issues, have things at the proper depth now, so they show up where they should be showing up. You can now sort by collector's numbers in the card manager as well. So for those people who, once we actually get our full collections, want to collect 4 of every card and sort by the collector's number and just go down the list and see how beautiful your collection is, you can do that.
Yeah, also
Yeah,
important for beta, of course.
It's more of a casual thing. I mean, I didn't even know collector's numbers were on the cards. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's cool.
Yeah, it's good to have. On to the
So-
gameplay changes. There's a lot of just bug
Fixing.
fixes of cards that were not functioning properly before.
Yep.
Those cards being Fiendish Kabbalist, Reginald Lancashire, Booby Trap, are the ones that should now function again, as they are written to function. I know a big one of those is Reginald. A lot of people were excited to use him. We're really sad that he was broken last patch, wasn't able to work. And now he's working again. I think we're going to see a couple of people messing around with decks with that. I'm not quite sure how competitive Reginald's going to be,
I
but
think I'm going to
he's
mess around
certainly,
with decks with that.
he's certainly a fun guy. I see some potential in him. And he definitely, I mean, he's one of those guys where it's just like, you can steal the game with it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And when I was a thing, it was a cool card to have them eye into and then like bounce it or kill it when it comes into their play. I was like, well, you're dead now, type thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But, moving on.
yeah.
Or did anybody have anything else to say about that?
Just fix
To
this.
say there was
Yeah.
I heard rumor that there was a Cerebral Fulmination deck that made it into the top 16. So he did that
Oh, yeah.
even without having Reginald at all. So I'm kind of interested to see if something like that might be viable there, or
That'd
if it
be
would end up
interesting.
being something that's maybe more of a Ruby Sapphire tempo kind of deck instead.
Yeah. I could see it going either way. Maybe a little bit of a mix of both. But, yeah. A few more fixes then. Blood Orb of Deception's game text now matches how it actually works. So it's just a little bit of a discrepancy there before. You no longer lose the game if the Transcendence draw replacement ability fails to find a card. I did not know that was a thing before.
Also
But
didn't
of
know
course, it's always nice to just not lose the game at a place where you're not supposed to lose the game. So, next up, Bottled Vitae's payment power can no longer be used at quick speed. This is a fix I've been waiting for like 5 months now,
this. Oh,
that we've known about forever. Bottled Vitae is supposed to be a basic action. You can only use it on one of your main phases, but it was able to be used at quick speed before, and it was just like kind of annoying when your opponents would do that and weren't supposed to be doing that. So
yeah,
Yeah,
Someone did it to me in a
happy with that
draft, I
change.
think it was. It pissed me off because I was like, yo.
Yeah, it
you
says
have the card,
basic on the card.
Giant
It just
basic
wasn't-
on the card.
Yeah, that basic symbol was not hard to miss at all. So
They had to fix that now with the angel, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Because if you just, I
yeah.
popped a bottle. I'm not supposed to. Then I got an angel. Cool.
yeah, nothing you can
Must
do
be
about
nice
that.
to be me, I guess.
Next up, replicas of a unique troop are no longer incorrectly still unique. So everybody who loves replicas, you know, hop on it, as well with the next
Mantic.
change where replicas now properly retain the effects of socketed gems. I thought it was intended that they didn't get the socketed gem effects, but now they're saying that it was not intended anymore. But either way, replicas no longer unique and now have socketed gem effects. So people might actually be more interested in running those replicas, such as Mimic, or people were already messing around with the Replicator's Gambit, but they might look even more seriously into it now, especially with guys like, if you want to pair it with Gem Crazed Berserkers with speed or something like that.
it
Just
definitely
gives you a few more
makes-
options.
It also makes Mimic a much higher pick in draft. For the fact that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can copy the gems, because like if someone gets an Inquisitor, you can copy their Inquisitor and whatever gem they have in it too. Though you still have to have the requirements to actually get the gem to go off or whatever, but still, something cool. I mean,
Maybe
it like a Dreamer would be sweet to grab with it now.
Yeah, or even
whereas
copying
before you got,
something like your Mystic, your 2/4 Sapphire guy. Copy that and still have the gem ability. A lot of people would be interested in that. And with Mimic being a 2-cost, I think it could definitely be a pretty good limited card now, and especially given that it's better used with unique troops and socketed troops now. So
yeah, for sure.
it increases its value a bit.
Like I would definitely take Mimic very highly in draft now that it works like this. Like before, because before you want to copy their bombs, and if their bomb is a socketed troop, it's like, well, now I'm just going to copy an unsocketed 3/1. That's not really that great. But now, copying a Dreamer is amazing. Copying,
Any socketed troop,
yeah.
really. Even
yeah,
like
because socketed troops are so powerful.
Hellhound with the ruby gem in it, all that stuff, really good. So happy about that. Wasn't actually expecting that change because I thought they had said previously that it was working as intended, but
Yeah, because
definitely
when it's said specifically, it's not supposed to
Yeah.
copy gems. Like
Yeah.
those words exactly. It is not at all supposed to copy gems. And like, yeah,
I'm fine with this.
he lied.
I'm certainly fine with this.
For sure.
Next up, Kraken no longer dies when put into play via Eye of Creation. Thought that was supposed to
Apparently it was
happen last
fixed
patch,
week.
but it's fixed again, so now it's
I
double
like the next
fixed.
fix. The Kraken now works with
Kraken.
Replicator's Gambit. This is kind of funny.
Yeah.
If you replicate a Gambit, your own Kraken, you will have 45 troops. Is that correct? 45? 8
I don't know.
arms
I ain't doing the
and
math.
6 Krakens. So 48 plus 6. This is kind of funny. I never even thought about playing this combo.
56 troops, that'd be then.
I mean, this is of course just overkill, but still, it is just funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you have a Kraken on the board and it's not already going to win, you can Replicator's Gambit it away and then hope to cast it again in a few turns.
You
Yeah,
gotta
it's
respect
just-
the
it's
fact
just
that they
fun.
found that, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
who was the guy who was like, I'm just gonna sit here and play a game forever until I can Replicator's Game at my Kraken, and then draw that same Kraken again? Like, that had to be an AI game for like 4 hours, right? Because
Yeah.
if you slam a Kraken against somebody in real life, they're just like, well, I'm probably dead now.
Yeah.
Or it's
Yeah,
dead, and you go on
Probably
with your day.
closer to running out of time than worrying about if your Kraken that's been Replicator's Gambited is going to live or not.
Challenge accepted. This one's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
we
And
make
it's gonna
the
get pushed
Replicator
on the wall.
Gambit Kraken deck.
I guess you just play it with Ascendant, right? And you just Replicator's Game it and grab it with the Ascendant.
Oh yeah,
That's
because
probably
that's
how you
the
do it.
real win condition I needed with myself.
Okay, so we make an Ascendant Kraken
To win
Replicator
more, man.
Gambit deck, yeah?
Yeah.
Why just win when you could win more?
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, let's go to the next point. This is going to be insane.
You can now interrupt counter magic without the game halting.
That's
Which
a
again, I
good
thought they
change.
did last week.
Yeah, I thought they did that last week.
I
Now it's
remember
double
the-
fixed, so
It
we
was-
could
it's double
counter
fixed now.
magic, and now
I think it was before
unbreaks.
actually. I think the last fix was if there was 2 counter magics on the stack, the game would not freeze. Now it's just if anything interrupts counter magic, including like Stone Skin and such. So Before it was a little bit more narrow of a fix. Now it's complete fix, hopefully.
Do you remember the first tournaments of streamers? When we, the second tournament of streamers, when counter was like game changing and nobody did it because we know the game would crash. It was like super stupid. I mean, it
happened to me in like 2 months ago. Tournament was when I played the Troopless deck. I had a counter in my hand. I had just necessary sacrificed away a Bertram token to draw 6 cards with Chimes in play, and I couldn't counter his counter magic on my sacrifice. I didn't have the Chimes in play, but it was still he countered sacrifice, which I needed the 3 cards, and I couldn't counter it because it would have broken the game.
Yeah,
pissed me off because I was
there's
3 cards is pretty relevant.
Yeah.
So
wait. I just looked up the Kraken's exact text, and he gets +1/+1 for each Kraken's tentacle you control, not just the ones he made.
Yeah, so if you
gambit, have every Kraken will have +48/+48 because you have 48 arms in the index. So you have 6 48 Krakens.
It would be
1 arms.
7.
And then the heat wave comes.
See, guys, this is not going to be complete until we have Hideous Conversion and Life Siphon thrown in there, too. We've got to make this the most ridiculous.
This is the most hideous deck ever.
That's going to be awesome. It's like, I could attack with one of these 56 Krakens, but instead, I'm going to sacrifice all of them Life Siphon 56. Because, again, I want to win.
One of these 7 56 Krakens. or any of my 56.
No, you sacrifice the entire field. Everything.
You sacrifice everything into counter magic mana. Just go balls deep. Just
I did it before, man.
You got it, bro? You got it?
I did a Life Siphon for 17 right into counter magic. It's fine. Not a big deal. You just got to go for it, man.
Yeah.
It's either they have it or you have it.
I like this suggestion here, too. Oath of Valor naming Tentacle. This is another one that's got to happen sometime, and it's going to be.
You throw it in the same deck. Sure. Why not?
Put it all in one deck. Ascendant, right? So you just Oath of Valor too. That's
fine. We could also create a deck and we name it Hentai Tentacle Massacre.
I got the hentai part. The rest of it, I have no idea what that is, but I'm going to assume that's something to do with tentacle sex.
Yeah. Oh, man. So back to the changes.
Yeah. Before we go to hentai.
Yeah. I see where this is going.
Yeah. We all do. We know we have Mystic on board, so when it comes to porn, he's going to rage.
You're the one who brought it up, to be fair.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Because I know we have you in it, and I want you to get excited,
All right, guys. The card text of Dradim, Eye of Creation, Blood Cauldron, Ritualist, and Induction Coil have all been fixed to reflect the redesign from the last patch. So just all those changes that were already put in last patch are now actually in the text box. So, of course, good to have.
So give me 1 second. I want to grab that up. Revolution. The first time I was on your screen, I told you can hear my voice, you can hear me speaking. I just want to grab it up and say welcome to you, and now you hear my voice. Sorry, I reminded that and want to say that. I just got that into my mind before I forget it. And he would say, "Hey, you're an asshole." Okay, let's get back to the changes.
All right. That was all for the changes. As for the known issues for this patch, there are 3 at the moment. Starter deck icons are missing in the stash. So that new area where you have all your stuff, the icons are missing for the starter decks. Other issue, buttons in the Wheels of Fate interface are missing text. So
very fun to do. It actually makes it more of a gamble now because you can't read what you're doing. So I was trying to open a chest before, I just pushed and made buttons like, well...
Yeah, just press all the buttons.
Something has to work.
This is telling you. Take a gamble. Next up, also, pack and pick numbers while drafting are not correct. Wait. What? What? What's that?
Oh, man.
Wasn't that a fix in this patch?
It's fixed, but it's not quite correct.
Wait. What?
Is that really fixed then? If it's not
they
correct...
said that was like one of the... That was already a mess up, and they just said in these very notes that we just read that was fixed, and now it's a known issue.
I mean, it's kind of like if a tree falls to the floor, no one's around here. Does it make a sound?
Let's get totally over with it. Get on top. Where was it? Where they said they fixed it. I was like, hey, this is cool.
It says pack and pick number are properly labeled while drafting.
Pack and pick number are
not
labeled.
Probably that is not correct.
Labeled
it's different
while drafting.
Oh, they're labeled
no
properly,
pack and pick
but they're not
numbers while
correct.
drafting are not correct. This is super. Yeah.
All right. Whatever.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let's get to the last part.
That's yeah. So that last paragraph or two down there is explaining that they're continuing to improve on the tournament functionality. Swiss tournaments saw a great deal of progress this week. Buys and proper pairings are now functioning correctly. An audio cue being added in, signaling when your round's ready. And other notable changes being the coin flip takes place before each match begins and having the winner choose.
So they're saying the winner
being fixed and all that stuff. And yeah.
But the important part is that this does mean closed beta is very soon. Aside from those emails they sent us, obviously stating closed beta is very soon.
Also, everybody who I believe they sent it to everybody, but it may have just been the Kickstarters and not the Slacker backers.
No, Slackers. I have one of each.
Probably Slackers too. Okay, it was probably a slightly different email then. But yeah, closed beta coming up real soon, and they're looking to have it monetized as well. So we'll be starting off those collections pretty early on in the closed beta, if not immediately. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it next week, 2 weeks from now at the latest.
Yeah, let's do some speculations when we will see beta. So
should we go to the exact hour? Like
no, they let's say week wise. I mean, we may have the beta next week, but I don't think so. I don't think we will see beta next week. I'm so sure about this. I got it.
I got a little too excited.
Yeah.
So, do you expect to have the beta next week? I do.
What I'm expecting, since they said there's going to be 4 or 5 days of downtime while they're switching all the servers and everything, they're going to want to go into the beta at the beginning of the week. So they're probably going to put the servers down on a Monday and then try to be back up by the end of Friday or so for the start of the beta. And so I'm assuming, of course, it's not happening this week, obviously, as we can see now. Next week, I'm assuming that we'll go through the whole week, and then maybe at the next Thursday, when we would usually get a patch announcement, maybe we'll be hearing about how we're going to be ending up going down for the following entire weekdays, Monday through Friday, for the start of the beta. If I had to guess a timeline, that would be it. Or even if it's not that close, I'm still expecting that type of timeline to happen. Maybe they announce it on a Friday or so, a Thursday or Friday, and then go down the following Monday for most of the week.
So, Jeddah, what would you say? When will the beta hit?
I have no guess. I mean, I've heard the same rumors that I think a lot of the other people have heard as far as when it would start. But I think what is interesting, though, is the things you probably still want to do while the alpha is around before we get to the beta. So aside from making sure that you have all the deck testing in that you want to do and get as much of the free drafting in that you want to do, probably pretty important to get your friends list, because I believe they said that they're going to scrap that when we go to the beta.
Yeah, everything's going to be wiped.
You'll have to resubmit everybody. So
yeah.
Okay, all of you guys who have access already, because I don't know who's on my list at all. Take
ever since they whoa, that dog is sounds like Havoc's here. Did Havoc just join the call?
No, my dog's just an asshole. I'm sorry, guys.
But yeah, all the friends lists are going to get wiped and all that stuff. All your cards are going to get wiped, and then you're going to get whatever Kickstarter or Slacker backer benefits you got shortly after we actually get into the beta. They said they'll be passing out those codes in your email or whatever. I'm not exactly sure they're going to end up doing it, but I'm assuming that they're just going to pass out your codes for your account, and then you're going to enter in those codes into the shop or something like that in order to get all of your cards that you signed up for in the Kickstarter or Slacker backer.
Yeah, there's a little thing on the top if you guys haven't seen it already. It's a redeem code. So I'm sure I don't know if it's going to be in game. They're going to send you the code, which would be probably the safest for those of us who have gotten them like the accounts through like people selling them or whatever, or a winning like I know they gave away some at the beginning, like someone gave away pro tiers and stuff. So some people didn't necessarily buy the account and don't have the email, so it might be safest to go through the email system in the game. But we'll see how that actually works out. But I'm about to say
it's also, I mean, it's possible that they just apply it straight to your account too, and don't mess around with giving out any codes or anything like that.
That could be safe too. I mean, like they may want to go with the codes because that's probably why they have the redeem code thing, right? Like I'd guess. I guess if
the redeem codes are for like promos and stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to grab up the beta exception date again. So Tim, your tip is next week, right?
Well, I was saying next week. It's going to be announced next week. I don't like obviously did announce it a few days before, so you're not like, oh well, by the way, tomorrow's beta, and now so you guys.
What do the date you think?
By the way, in about a few hours, we're going to take down the servers for 4 days.
Yeah. No, I mean,
what is your
when the beta hits? Besides from the 5 days downtime, when the 5 days are over, that day, what week you think will it be? Will it be in 2 weeks?
I think that's going to be probably May 1st or 2nd is when the servers are actually going to come back up.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to guess.
Yeah, I'd say they're probably going to announce it next Thursday or Friday. It's the 24th or 25th, and then it'd be up by like the 1st or 2nd. They want it up by the weekend, I would guess, so that people can start building their collections over that weekend. And the weekends when they probably have the most traffic, so they probably want.
They also want it up by the weekend because the weekend is when most of them have off, I'm assuming, and they don't want to be working on the servers and such on the weekend. So they wanted to get most of the work done on the weekdays.
So it's like the first or second
part. But this is a beta release date, so they will have overwork and stuff and working on weekends.
Oh, there'll be some overtime for sure.
And so I can nearly promise you that it won't be next week for sure, and I'm very sure it won't be in 2 weeks. I don't want to destroy any dreams, but let's be honest, they have to still fix a lot of stuff that we don't know yet about. They have to make sure the game will be polished as hell. They will probably just add 2 more polish patches or something. And they have
it's still just a closed beta.
They also have to, yeah, of course, but still they have to make sure that the whole back end is working and all that stuff. And when it all comes together, then they will find the point when they think they are ready, and then they are running into other problems. So my tip would be mid of May. That's my tip. Mid of May, we will see the beta.
I think the thing I'm most worried about is with the interview with Corey, he said that they weren't going to have the auction house ready as soon as beta hit, which really bothers me because that means the people who didn't get like the super high tiers, say they just got like the $25 tiers or just the slacker backers or stuff like that, they're not going to have very many packs. And if we're ending up having constructed tournaments still, and there's no way to trade on the auction house, or buy cards on the auction house, it's going to be really hard to get the good decks if you didn't have these super high tiers. So I'm hoping that they actually do have that auction house implemented really quickly after beta actually launches and they have it monetized. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting around with a bunch of people with really mediocre decks because there's no way of trading on the auction house yet. That worries me quite a bit. Yeah, you'd still trade in-game, but then you have to actually set it up with people, and you'd have to basically spam chat like you would in old trade chat and WoW, and not use the auction house ever, and that's a real pain. And hopefully the auction house is all working by the time we get around to the next tournament.
It would be nice though to not have angels all around right away. Like a week or 2 off from having angels all over the place.
But then you're just gonna have like a couple of people who got lucky with opening packs or had 500 packs to open, and those guys are just gonna have a huge advantage then if we don't have the auction house.
Yeah.
Well, to piggyback on that a little bit too, it's not just the guys who have a ton of packs, but it's also the people who are in the large guilds. Like presumably the people that are in the large guilds are going to trade in between each other and help each other build the decks that they want to have too. So people with those more people behind them opening packs are going to be the ones that are going to have the 4 Angel decks or whatever.
Yeah.
So, what's the biggest thing you're looking forward when beta hits? We know we won't have PvE and stuff. I don't mean this. So, what is for you personally the biggest thing you like about it, Mystic?
Well, for me, I think because we don't have 4 of everything immediately, you're going to get some kind of unique brews, which may breed some innovation to maybe crack the format a little bit. Because right now the format, it's not stale. It means one tournament showing a bunch of Blood Diamond decks. So I wouldn't call it stale yet, but
yeah, I think it's far from stale. But
yeah, but I mean, the less people have of cards, the more they make. Well, I'll try this card out because I don't have 4 of, Vampire King. I'll play, 1 of Harvester or something, and it can kind of change up, what you're going to see all around. So it could breed some nice innovation. So it's kind of what I'm looking forward to, because I always love that kind of stuff, like just weird kind of off the wall decks and doing well. So it'd be cool to see.
Yeah, I'm always interested in those type of decks. I think another thing I'm looking forward to in the beta is actually drafting for prize. Like that'll be big. I was always a pretty big fan of that on MTGO, trying to go infinite with drafts and stuff like that. All that stuff is fun. And I mean, also constructed tournaments for prize and all that. Being able to actually win something feels good, feels satisfying.
Also, actually fire off an 8-man in 8-man constructed in Hex is impossible right now.
Yeah, people are actually going to play 8-man constructed queues and stuff instead of just always going to the Proving Grounds for constructed.
Because as much as I love like playing the Proving Grounds and playing draft and all that stuff, I'd much rather play where I have 2 to 3 sideboards and it's a more pseudo-competitive field. You get a little bit more out of it as a player to have some amount of competitiveness in just a sort of casual game. It's like it's a competitive casual, which is still, competitive enough where it's still practice.
Yep. People are definitely going to be playing a lot more for real, I think. Once people are actually paying for everything and not just all free, messing around, trying out new stuff, we'll see a lot more competition.
That's the problem I currently have, that you have everything, and that's kind of boring. I want to build my own collection, and when I play, I want to earn something to get something new and stuff. That's what a normal trading card game player wants, I would say. I mean, you want to play, you want to get some payoffs, I would say, that feeling. For example, if you play Diablo 3 or stuff, you want to find great items and stuff, and I'm very much into it when it comes to you get something for playing. Not that the game is not making fun, it's a lot of fun, but when it comes to the point when you get something for playing, then it matters if you win and stuff, and that's the change I'm looking most forward to.
Yeah. Another thing to go on with that, I'm wondering if they're going to implement some sort of like ELO system, they have, sure, just to keep track of your own rating. Yeah, they have to. It doesn't really affect your matches. Like if you're in an 8-man draft pod, it's not going to affect your matching at all. But it's just like for your own pride level or whatever. Say like,
if you
just
have
some sort of rating system.
Look at Hearthstone. They Hearthstone, of course, I know, bad word, blah blah blah, but they also have ELO system and a ranking system and blah blah blah, all that stuff, and it's very important, especially for Hex. Hex wants to be an esport game, and if you don't have an ELO, if you don't have a ranked system, it just doesn't make sense to play constructed at all. You want to have rankings. Why are people playing constructed? Always the same deck that is winning them games. They want to be high on the ranking. They want to, show
I mean, they could do it.
They are,
Like the way with MTGO doesn't really worry about ranking too much, like actual your ELO or whatever, even though they have it. But it's more about who actually wins the big tournaments. Like they have PTQs online and stuff, and that's how you show that you're good. You actually just win the big tournaments with lots of people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I got 2 things here.
Okay.
One of the things is, I mean, this is still a card game, even though it's digital, and the digital cardboard crack, it opens up some packs here. It's really just awesome to just, especially with, I think, the animation they have. I know some people are going to say that they don't care, and some people might call me casual player now, whatever. But I think it's just awesome. I think it's just awesome to go and crack open those packs and get your cards for the first time.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really like is the fact that in drafts now, people aren't just going to bail when they get a bad deck, and people are actually going to play the rounds out instead of just leaving when there's a problem. Yeah. I'm kind of guilty of this every once in a while too. If I have a long wait in the draft queue, I may bail on a draft that is free right now in alpha, but
if you get a buy or something,
beta, that stuff's going to stop.
Yeah.
The second I got to buy, nope.
I think there's going to be a lot less buys going around as well if people paid to enter. So another thing about draft, though, people are going to be rare drafting now. So
for sure, I will.
Well, depending on the price of the cards.
I mean, if you open an Angel,
we still have no idea what cards are going to be priced like. I'm expecting everything to be dirt cheap just because of how much a set 1 is out, at least for set 1. But I know some people are expecting some pretty high prices. I'd say at the most you're going to get your chase rares are going to be half the price of Magic at the very most. But I mean, just because packs are half the price, you know.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think a $10 to $15 Angel is probably about what it would be.
I think that's way more than it's actually going to be.
You think so? I mean, Angel's going to be like, if you look at just how much people want to play it, it's like super value.
I mean, just to go by, I know I've said this before, but there's over $2 million in their Kickstarter. That means there's going to be and each Kickstarter gives out about double of what you actually paid for in packs. So that means there's $4 million in packs just from the get-go.
Plus slacker backers.
Plus slacker backers on top of it. And then people are going to be buying packs to draft, buying packs to open packs, all that stuff. There's just going to be so much of set 1 in circulation just from the get-go that everything's going to be super cheap.
I mean, the digital versions of cards are cheaper anyway, right? Because like, even if you look at Magic Online, the Magic Online cards are usually like not like half necessarily, but they're usually much cheaper.
Not close to half, but everything costs the same as real life on Magic Online.
Yeah, but it's still cheaper on Magic Online than it is in person because there's much more drafting going on. So much more being opened.
And stuff. Yeah, there's a lot more being opened, or a lot more that is being opened that you have access to.
Yeah,
you know. Even if it's not quite as much as real life, all of it's in one place, you know.
Like you could trade a person in Australia on Magic Online that you can't necessarily do it in real life, so you can get that card you wouldn't be able to get otherwise.
Yeah. So things are a lot more available. So on top of that, just having so much from the start, I think once we start getting more sets and, you know, not everybody's going to have tons of packs of set 2 as soon as set 2 comes out like they are with set 1. I think then we might start seeing a bit of a price increase, depending on how many people actually end up playing the game. Because, you know, more people could influence the price of stuff, either for more or for less, depending on how things go. But I think prices are going to be really cheap to start.
Yeah.
Just aside from Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike, no one goes to have all of them, so.
All over at the beginning. Okay, I would say that's it for the patch review of 0.9.0. Mystic, what do you want to say?
Any last words?
Any last words before I come to you and you know,
before it cuts you off?
Yes, just 3.
Gone?
No, I think I said my piece already. So, yeah, looking forward to that beta.
Yeah. Special thanks to you, Jedi, for joining us today as a guest. You want to say something?
Sure. Thanks for having me on. And I know, at least speaking for myself, I'm looking forward to getting as much drafting in before the alpha finishes. So I'm actually not minding it too much that we have a little more time until beta starts.
That's just a guess. Probably it's next week, but that's just a guess, you know. We will see.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think 2
so-
weeks is still fair for the draft. I mean for beta, it's fair. 2 weeks is about right.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's 2v1, man.
Yeah, all speculation at the moment, but yeah.
Speculation nation.
Just see what-
Hopefully we'll get some more info soon.
Right. You will see what happens. They will announce it via Twitter and Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
So, thank you all for tuning in today for the patch review of null.9 9.0 as said. Hope you had much fun. We will do the next show on the next patch, and I would say we see us. And yeah, I don't have any other last words. And that tunes us out. So have a good night, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.
See ya.
Later.
Adios.
Toodles.